are Biblical DNA here. Today we are doing do the Lebanese have ancient Levantine autosomal? Alright. Y'all haven't seen me in a while. I've had personal situations going on in my life. But I'm still alive. Everything's all good on my side. So we have Global25 Ultimate World Deep Ancestry Calculator on Vahaduo. You can find this, explore your DNA. It's in the description. I'm also doing ADMIXTOOLS too. For those that are interested in ADMIXTOOLS too, it comes from Dr. Robert Maier. Dr. David Reich uses this. A lot of geneticists use this when it comes to the DNA studies and whatnot. I personally have the ancient modern present day samples. Unfortunately, I can show you the website at the end of this video, but as of right now, those samples aren't available anymore. So this is something I personally had for a long time. I've had it since I want to say the beginning of this year, but unfortunately, like I said, these samples are no longer available. So until then, you only could do based off of the samples that Dr. Reich has on his website. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we see let's do source first. These are your sources. You have Baltics, Caucasus hunter-gatherer, the farmer from the Zagros, Tufians, Levant pre-pottery Neolithic B, Neolithic North Africans, so forth and so on. Target are Lebanese Christians and Muslims. As we see, distance shows them being closely related to the Levant pottery Neolithic B. But I do see a difference, and we're gonna go when we look at the ADMIXTOOLS too, be able to see the difference between the two. But there's definitely a difference between them. So we'll be able to see that. Those that rewatch this, stop the video anytime. See the distance breakdown. Top. Oh, I already ran it. See, I already have the averages. There we go. All right, so we see the averages at the bottom. We're looking at a pre-Levant pre-Potter Neolithic B at 43%. Anatolia Neolithic farmer, Turkey Neolithic. So this sample is used for the early European farmers. Also have the Zagros farmer, Caucasus hunter-gatherer, Then we have the Yemeniya. We have lesser samples as follows. What I see that's interesting to me is that it seems that the Christians tend to have a higher percentage of the Levant pre-Potter Neolithic E, but that's not always the case, as we see these two samples have a higher percentage. But when I look at ADMIXTOOLS 2, which we're getting in a second here, I see that the Christians tend to have more Levantine period. These are all the samples that I used. And I used a lot of samples. I used every single Christian, Lebanese Christian and Muslim samples that I used on Global25. I also use it on ADMIXTOOLS. But the problem is when you do ADMIXTOOLS, if you have a name, it'll just, when it runs through the genome file, it basically just puts all those samples in that individual's sample file. So it's like basically almost an average, you can say. All right, so start off with the Christians first. Let's see, we have 45% weight for the Caucasus hunter-gatherer, and for see. We have 11% for the Zagros Iranian sample. We have 17% for Natufian and 26% for Neolithic Turkey, which is the early European farmers. So that gives us a total of 99%. So one of those are like 0.5. Population up. Let's see. So you see the different possibilities of the admixture. These are the best possibilities that I came up with, like admixtures I came up with based off of the standard error. That's the lowest standard error that I got. All right, so we see that the Lebanese Muslims have Caucasus hunter-gatherer at 39%, Iranian farmers at 19%, Natufians at 12%, and early European farmers at 29%. That total is going to give us 99. Once again, I use the best mix, admix, to get a low standard error. So this is a Lebanese in general. I guess these are the ones that don't identify with. So it looks like we have Caucasus hunter-gatherer at 5%, Iranian farmer at 17%, Tufians at 23%, and early European farmers at 35%. That total is going to be 100. Once again, this is the lowest standard error that I was able to calculate. Are the possibilities? So that can I can. That's the best I can do. Second. All right, moving along. You have the more Bronze Age, Iron Age sources. I'm gonna calculate for the Lebanese. Go. We have the Ethiopian Malta sample, the Ebelite from the early Middle Bronze Age, Hittite, Middle Late Bronze Age, Egyptian, Hellenistic, the Latini, Iron Age, Latini, Prestinistini, tribe, Iron Age, Sardinia, Roman, Imperial, Etruscan, um, Minoan, Mycenaean, Assyrian, Nimeric, Bronze Age, Syrian Lebanese, Iron Age 2, Philistine sample, the Iron Age, Tel Megiddo sample, Canaanite samples, Scythians, Ratians, Cimmerians, Sarmatians. Again, these are the samples for the Lebanese. For all the way beginning. See, what's interesting is what the science shows is that modern day Lebanese, 90 to 93% descendants of the Canaanites. Unless that Assyrian was a Canaanite or a good portion of his autosomal was Canaanite, that would explain why. Most interesting thing I see is the Iron Age Tel Megiddo sample, Israelite sample. It does show admixture to it on ADMIXTOOLS 2, not so much as I will show y'all, but still, I mean, it shows in the distance that it's close. Well, from what I can see, the Lebanese Christians tend to be closer to the Canaanite samples, but that's not always the case, as this one is close to the Syrian sample. So, like again, once again, if that sample had majority or half of his DNA that was Canaanite, it explains why. That's Lebanese Christian would cluster Syrian RNA. Once again, all you have to do is just when you're watching this, pause the video, specific sample. All right, so the admixture. We see a close affinity to the Canaanites. So the average for both Christian and Muslims is 29.5%. But from what I can see, it seems like the Christians have a closer connection to. Now, with that being said, it looks like the Muslim Lebanese Muslims have a closer connection to the Latins. And the reason could be is the Syrians were amongst the Ratians, so I mean, yeah, possible admixture there. I also see interesting connection, a higher affinity to the Lebanese Christian, the Syrian Lebanese Iron Age 2 than the Muslims. Now this is the interesting one. It's the connection that the Christian Lebanese have to the Tel Megiddo Iron Age sample. As we can see, they have a closer connection to Tel Megiddo Iron Age sample than Lebanese Muslims. What are the odds there? All right, ADMIXTOOLS 2. Zoom out. Go. One thing I wanted to point out is the close connection Lebanese have to the Middle Bronze Age Canaanite sample. I mean, look at this genetic affinity. I mean, they're spot on. I mean, that's so close. Another one that's important to note is the Turkey Alaha Middle Late Bronze Age. This population was genetically closely related to the Ebelite and Sidon. So, you know, I would say Amorites and Canaanites. This, you know, genetically connection connected to. It's just amazing how closely related. Let's go to Adam. All right, so once again, the admixture I chose, I made sure to get the lowest standard error. See if I can zoom this in. Or let's see. Try this. I do these videos live for anyone on my channel. I'm not really scripted. I basically just, pull whatever source I'm gonna go over. I'll briefly just go over a little bit, but I don't write anything down. What you get is what I'm giving you. Like, I don't come up with anything that's pre-scripted. I don't edit my videos or anything. So I'm me. You're gonna get what you get, and I prefer you to catch my errors that I make than having to watch a video that's a scripted person that basically is only reading from a narrative. I don't do that. So I appreciate all my new subscribers too. All right, so what we see, the Lebanese Christians, we see they carry 9%, the Iron Age Israelite sample, 47% Israel Middle Late Bronze Age, Ebelite early Middle Bronze Age at 2%, and the Alaha Middle Late Bronze Age 43%. So that total is going to give us 101. Once again, I basically just went based off of the lowest standard error. So that's the important to know, is that this source right here basically is a mixture of Levantine, from like Lebanon to Syria to to Turkey. And you don't believe me, just go on Wikipedia, go to the source that states this. Right there. All you have to do, and for those new to Wikipedia, literally, that's the citation right there. You click on it, and you can read the article for yourself. Because yeah, I know that Wikipedia makes mistakes. It's not unheard of. That's why you're not going to cite a Wikipedia site for evidence, but you can use the source that they cite. Go from there. Drop down to the Lebanese Muslim. See, this is what I was saying, how the Lebanese Muslims have a lesser connection to the Israelite Iron Age Tel Megiddo sample. That sample is only at 5%. So 5. And then the Israel Middle Late Bronze Age at 28%. Then we see this Assyrian Ebelite Early Middle Bronze Age at 28%. And then the Turkey Al-Ha Middle Late Bronze Age at 39%. That's 100%. Once again, I went with the lowest standard error. I don't think I should populate. Second, now I'll go back to the. Like I said, all you have to do is pause the video in the future. If you want me to screenshot any of these admixtures, just hit me up on email, or you can find me on Clubhouse, Biblical DNA, or you can, I don't know, comment on this video and be like, hey, if you could please send me this, send me these screenshots, it'll be much appreciated, and I got you. All right, this is the Lebanese Christian. All right, moving on to the Lebanese. So this one I had to mess with a little bit. I think I did. Now this sample right here, this Iraq pre-Potter Neolithic A, this sample is actually a the Nimric Late Bronze Age sample. When Dr. Reich, when he put it in his files, he didn't change it from the Neolithic Nimric sample to the Late Bronze Age sample. So that was an error that I found. I actually had a double look. I'm like, wait a minute, it's the same sample ID, but it's wrong sample name. But make mistakes, we're so. All right, once again, this is the lowest standard error that I could find. So what I got is 2% or 20% for Israel Iron Age, 68% for Israel Middle Late Bronze Age, 3% for the Ebelite Early Middle Bronze Age, and 9% for the Al-Ha Middle Late Bronze Age. For those just jumping on or just skip through my video, this turkey sample is a mixture of like Ebelite and Canaanite. So that's at 100%. Pop dropulation. Pop drop. These are the possible admixtures by feasible, by best, true. That's the first one that was shown. All right. On the YDNA Lebanese, see they carry some E1A, some E1B1B. There we go. Now, what's interesting for me for having YDNA match from Lebanon, he's not actually on here, which could be the case. A lot of Lebanese that live in the United States or Canada could be origin instead of Lebanon, or they could have their private, which I'm signed in. See some sample. I did get a request to do a Palestinian video. I'll definitely do that. I'm gonna be trying to work on a video. I'll be basically covering all the autosomal for the Romans, YDNA, mtDNA. So I'll be doing their admixtures. Also, I'll try to do the ADMIXTOOLS. And let me tell you something. That ADMIXTOOLS too. It's you got to know what you're doing. You got to find the right samples that's gonna fit. Because if it doesn't fit, it's gonna see you're gonna have a extreme high standard error, and like weights are gonna be negative or in the highs. So you got to know what you're doing when ADMIX. If you have any experience on ADMIXTOOLS too, please by all means hit me up in the email. I would greatly appreciate any feedback, any help that can boost my knowledge. Learning about ADMIXTOOLS too. I learned it on my own, and it was, I mean, it was kind of a pain to even install my MacBook Pro. Like, it wasn't something an average person could figure it out. Like, it was a bit difficult if you don't have no education in this field. So, from a standpoint where I don't have a degree in bioinformatics, so or any of that, so this is all me. It's basically my research from learning on my own. All right, let's do the mtDNA. Now, what I found interesting about the mtDNA, let's see if I what I found interesting about the mtDNA that they carry a lot of H and a lot of K and a lot of N1B. Now, if you know anything about like Jewish mtDNA haplogroups, you know they carry H, they carry K, they carry N1B. So I'm just wondering, like, are these people, would these women be considered, or these men that carry these mtDNAs of H, K, and N1B, would they be considered Jewish? Obviously not. So I just find it interesting that, Lebanese carry a lot of mtDNA H. I mean, it just proves that, H definitely was in the region of the Levant. North Africans also carry a lot of H also. The Amaziach, they carry a lot of H. A's coming. These are. Let me see. Wonder if it's not showing me logged on. I think that because I saw some samples that had um J1B1A also amongst Lebanese, the mtDNA that I belong. All right, this is not work for me. All right, that's about it. This is a A tree sample from Lebanon. He belongs to J-BY199288 mtDNA of H2A. All right, that's gonna do it for me. Like this content, please like, share, and subscribe. If you have any feedback, just just do it in a professional manner. You get a lot of negative comments. Oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's that. Yeah. I really appreciate those haters saying that because it actually motivates me to become better with autosomal genetics and whatnot to learn. Like I said, I didn't go to school for this, so this is something I do as a hobby, not as a job. Something I learned on my own. All right. Well, this has been Biblical DNA. I'm out.